Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, welcome. In this video, we will be discussing self-concept. What is it? What's a good self-concept versus a bad self-concept, and how to fix it if you have a bad self-concept. So first of all, what is self-concept? So self-concept is just the set of beliefs you have about yourself and other areas of your life. And this is generally the reflection of what's going on internally. So if you have a good perception of yourself and yourself in other areas, or areas such as finance, health, wealth, relationships, and so forth, it will show up well if you have a good self-concept with respect to those things. So it's just a set of beliefs you have about yourself in general and about other areas of your life. And depending on where you are, you will see if you have a good self-concept or a bad self-concept. Ideally, what you want in your self-concept, or what you'd want to believe about yourself generally, should be in alignment to the ideal self, or the version of yourself that you want to be. Because when you're in alignment with that, you have a higher, I want to say a higher like look on life. Your perception of life is a lot higher. You feel more satisfied with your life, so life satisfaction is higher as well, and you're better able to accomplish and achieve what you want to achieve, while also having the type of relationships that you'd want to have as well. So you'd want to have it in alignment. The other thing that also impacts your self-concept is your self-esteem. Like, how much do you believe in yourself? Do you believe yourself to be worthy and deserving of what you want? Do you really believe in your own potential? Do you believe in your potential to bring in more money, more love, more luck into your life, more opportunities? Because those things also matter to your self-concept. And of course, a good self-concept means that you have a positive or a general healthy view of the things that I'm referring to. So a good self-concept means that you generally don't think money is a struggle. You don't think love is difficult, or love is a battlefield, love bites, love is painful, as many songs would say. But instead, you view these things through a positive, or at the very least, a healthy lens, so that it allows it to come in with ease, grace, and flow. And what you want is to be in alignment with that internally, so that outside it shows up in a very magnificent and easy way for you. So that means just really doing the work to make sure that your belief system aligns with who you want to be and what it is that you want. Now, it does take work, especially if you're coming from a place where you've had a lot of evidence or a lot of experiences that tend to show the negative outlook more than the positive or the healthy outlook for things. I know for me that's been the case, and I've had to work on it over and over and still working on it. So, for example, if you think money is hard to come by, there are no opportunities, the market sucks, there's like little to no chance for growth, the economy is in the toilet, the exchange rate is going up again, prices in the supermarket are too high. If you believe all of these things, what's going to happen is that outside of you, you're going to get evidence of all of these things. So yes, the price in the supermarket are going to be high. Yes, it's going to be difficult to make money. Yes, you're going to limit yourself to the opportunities to make money. And it's going to literally be a pain in the butt to lift yourself out of this if you are also repeating these belief systems, because the universe will keep showing you these things to support your belief systems. And so that in itself shows a sign of a poor self-concept with respect to money. Now, a poor self-concept with respect to yourself is you don't believe you're capable, you're unworthy of love, you're undeserving of love, you don't deserve to be respected, and so forth. And I would say, before you start doing any changes in any area, money, for example, relationships, or so forth, you have to work on the relationship with yourself and what you generally believe about yourself. Because you can have all the affirmations playing, you can do all the spiritual work, the prayers, the everything, to want to bring in something amazing to you. But if you're not working on yourself, you're not focusing on yourself, you're not prioritizing yourself, you're not putting yourself on a pedestal, you're not viewing yourself as the prize, you're not viewing yourself as worthy and deserving of love and respect and clear communication, and your boundaries being respected, you will forever be in a cycle of wanting, of desperation, and of being unhealthily attached, that it will drive you insane. And I say this because that is what happened to me. So it's very important that you're working on self first and your general beliefs about yourself, while also regulating your nervous system so that when your body starts to feel uncomfortable with it, it starts to shift to being comfortable with the new belief system, with the new self concept you're trying to bring in, so that it allows for the other things to come in easily, or gives you easy access to find ways to bring the things to come in easily. Because you do not want to keep forever doing the same thing, expecting the same result, and driving yourself mad. Because once again, that happened to me, and I do not want to see you have the same experiences I have. I want you to actually excel and do better, be better. So first, you have to work on putting yourself first. So I'm going to break this down into several categories. So the first one is, of course, emotionally. So it's important that you're not fighting your emotions or suppressing your emotions. Two things I've been very good at doing that are both very destructive. So you do not want to keep fighting your emotions, because what happens when you resist something, it persists. And yes, I know that happens in manifestation, but when it comes to your emotions, if you're not addressing them in healthy manners and you are resisting them, what happens is then you can get more events, more experiences that then allow for those emotions to build, and then you have an explosion, rather than finding healthy ways to communicate and address those feelings. So emotionally speaking, you do need to be at a level of stability. And the reason why I'm doing this is because if you're not in a sense of emotional stability within yourself, you will not be able to handle anything awesome. You will not be able to hold on to it even if it comes into your field. And then you're going to feel sad that you did not have the practices in place to do so. So it's very important that you get a hold of your emotions. You are allowed to feel however the heck you feel. Okay, so you're allowed to feel angry if somebody disrespected you. You're allowed to feel sad if something devastating happened to you. You're allowed to feel discouraged if an opportunity came to you and it just didn't work out. You are allowed to feel however you feel. However, you are not allowed to let those feelings completely dictate your life and the path you're on. Okay, you are allowed to sit down and cry, punch a pillow, get the feelings out however you need to in a healthy manner, but you should not be staying there so long that it disrupts your entire life. Because if you do that, you're going to end up regressing the good that is still there in your life, even if you cannot see the good right now, right? So please, first focus on emotional regulation, first focus on feelings and getting to a sense of stability with that before moving on. And in some cases, it might be extremely severe. I highly, highly recommend go to therapy. I highly recommend doing affirmation work at night to fix it. And I also recommend nervous system regulation. And I would recommend all three for you to feel a little bit better so that it's easier to adjust the other areas that you want to adjust. And I will say this, if it is a case where you're experiencing extreme emotions, depression, high levels of depression, anxiety, and have also been mistreated severely, as in been in abuse, go to therapy, go talk to somebody who has the experience in dealing with such matters, and make sure you're all right. Okay, then you can come back to the nervous system regulation and affirmations at night, because those are also going to be important. But you need to start taking care of yourself emotionally. When you have done this to a level where you're back in control, you're allowing yourself to feel how you feel, but not letting yourself be overwhelmed by how you're feeling, then you can move on to the other parts. So a big part of the self-concept is your self-esteem. How you view yourself, how you just generally deal with things on a regular basis. So first things first, your self-esteem with respect to your relationships. So we're going to start with self first, right? So a poor self-concept is that, oh, I hate myself, I can't stand myself, why do I always make mistakes, why am I always doing the wrong thing, why can't I ever make the right decisions, why can't I ever pick the right persons, why do I always just do X, blah, blah, blah. So that is having a inner critic as well, but it also leads to a lot of self-blaming. And sometimes you do need to have a little bit of a check within yourself to see if you're on the right path. You do need to have some sorts of things to help with your blind spots and notice your blind spots and fix it. The problem is sometimes the inner critic might stop you from getting things that you want, or stop you from making decisions, or stop you from getting to the better version of yourself, because you're literally putting yourself in a shame cycle, or that was a bit of a tongue twister for me, a shame cycle. And what you want to do is get out of that to allow for goodness to come into your life. So yes, there's going to come a time where you have to hold yourself accountable for the mess you've made, for the mistakes you've made, and self-correct. But it also needs to come from a healthy place where you're not going to constantly put yourself down, so that you don't do anything, that you don't get up and fix the mess, or you don't hold yourself accountable, because that also leads to being a victim. And a part of having a more empowered self-concept is basically deafening that inner victim, deafening the inner critic to a point where it's not destructive but only constructive. And you do not want to be a victim, because victims are never in their power, they never succeed, they never get anywhere in life. I'll tell you, victims, you would normally find them in 2 or 3 places, and you don't want to be in those places, right? You normally find them in the hospital, in prison, or in a grave. You do not want to be in any of those places. You do not deserve to be in any of those places. So stop being a victim, okay? Like, you have all the power to change your self-concept, but you gotta stop the victim shit. And I will say this, and I'm calling myself out for this. There have been decisions you've possibly made that were on you, and you're gonna have to take some accountability for that. And it is going to suck. It's going to be absolutely fucking annoying. But you have to hold yourself accountable, especially if you want to be a more empowered person. You want to do better. You want to be better. You're going to have to hold yourself accountable. And it's going to come with a lot of crying and a lot of anger for letting a lot of these things slide. But once you've realized it, do not go back there. Don't go back into being in that mindset. Come from a place of power, like, okay, I know better now, so I will definitely do better. I will hold myself accountable. And if need be, and I have loved ones to help me with this, I will ask them to hold me accountable to this shit, right? Because you deserve way better self-concept with yourself first. Because if you can deal with all of this, your self-concept internally first, in general, with a better self-esteem, a higher sense of self, a higher sense of self-esteem, it would be easy to bring in anything you want. Because then you remember you're in the driver's seat, your decisions actually matter, and your decisions influence who and what you're bringing into your life. And that is extremely important if you want to get anywhere in life, okay? So that being said, you have to take out all those things that are parts of concept of self and tweak it to be a better or healthier version of yourself and a healthier self-concept. So all that, woe is me, I can't do this, I'm hopeless, things never change, I will forever be this person, all that needs to just be dropped. A healthier self-concept would look like, oh, I am capable. Okay, I can learn from my mistakes. I am allowed to grow. I am allowed to do better this time. I can make the changes I need to make to become the person I want to be. And I would not go with the whole, I'm fabulous. I want to start at that position, because for some of us, getting to a position of I'm awesome, I'm great might be too far to reach, especially if we have been in a poor self-concept of self for so long. I know for me, that was the case. So I had to start from a baseline of I am able to change. I'm able to do better. I'm able to make better decisions. I am able to make mistakes and move on from them. I'm also able to see the good side of things and just move on and take the lessons. Because you want to come from a place of power. You want to also come from a place of wisdom, but you want to come from a place of power so that you can make better decisions, you can do better, and so forth. And I know it's difficult, especially, like I said, if you're coming from a very low baseline of like little to no self-esteem to do this, but you have to build your own self-esteem. You have to start changing your inner dialogue if you want a better life. If you even, and I know this is going to sound a little dark, but if you even want a reason to live, you have to start learning how to change your inner dialogue, because it will be very difficult to want better if your inner dialogue is against you. And I will tell you this, the world can be absolute garbage sometimes. You can see a lot of crap around you. But if your internal dialogue is not on your side, you've already lost on so many levels. So it's very important that at least, even if the world looks like chaos and is on fire, your inner dialogue has you giving you some level of stability, and is allowing you to actually deal with the chaos outside of you. Because somehow, some of that chaos that you are experiencing is probably your fault. Maybe not all of it. Maybe not all of it, right? But some of it you probably have caused through your own past thoughts and actions. And so it's very important that right now you cut that, you nip it in the bud, and you start to think better and you start to think in your favor. Because if you want to do better, you have to learn how to think in your favor. You're going to come through many closed doors, many obstacles, many issues, and you cannot afford to let that deter you from what it is that you want. You have to learn how to be your own cheerleader, speak kindly to yourself, speak to yourself with love if you're going to get anywhere in this life. Some of the most successful people had nothing in their advantage, less than me, less than you. And they found a way to make it work. No excuses, no dramatics, no nothing. And so it's really up to you to change that inner dialogue that you're having with yourself, to be in your favor, to speak in your favor, and to go after what the heck you want, right? So building your own self-esteem, you can use affirmations. You can use affirmations at night, and I know your brain's going to fight you, so have emotional regulation as part of your practice as well. You have to look in your mirror, love what you see, hype up whatever reflection you're getting, and speak kindly to that version. That's another way of actually boosting your self-esteem, because I've had to do this. I've had to stop being uncomfortable with who I was seeing in the mirror and start speaking kindly to her. And that practice also helps with your inner child, especially if you've had to deal with very critical parents, very negative situations that brought down your self-esteem. You have to learn how to look at you in the mirror and say the most kindest, loving things to yourself, because if you are also trying to improve your self-concept in love and relationships, if you can't love you first, you can't speak kindly to you first, you're not going to get it from anybody else. And even if you do get it for a moment, you're going to end up losing it or self-sabotaging it or sabotaging it. So it's very important that you're learning how to speak kindly and loving to yourself first and giving yourself that love first. And it starts from looking in the mirror and speaking loving and kind things to that person staring back at you. And that's actually the thing that helped me increase my self-esteem, which needed a repair for years, and helped me to actually take back my power as well. So you're going to look in the mirror, you're going to say, I love you, I cherish you, I respect you, and whatever feels natural for you, but in a positive way. Like, okay, I know we messed up, but we're going to get back on track. Or I love you so much, I would do anything for you. And you say that to yourself in the mirror. You love yourself so much, you will do anything for you. All right? And that's one of the things I said. I love you so much, I would do anything for you. You're amazing. You're gorgeous. You're talented. You're capable. You're dynamic. You're amazing. You're unique. You're one of one. And I would just look at my mirror and I'll just sometimes rampage and say that until it felt like it was the truth. And when I did, I would get up and go kick butt. Like, I would be able to stand up for myself in relationships. I would crush numbers at work. So having that discussion with yourself, that affirmation, that hype obsession with yourself in the mirror, it's a great way to increase your self-esteem. And I recommend it because I've done that for myself. I would also say surround yourself with people who uplift you and believe in your ability and talent and speak kindly to you. I think a lot of the times when I had my downward spirals or was crashing out or was really hurt was because I was around people that did not see my worth, my value, and did not speak life into me. Of course, it first starts with speaking life into myself, but basically surrounding myself with people who do not value me or favor me was just not going to work out. Especially if you're trying to really boost up your self-esteem, you would want to surround yourself with people who see the love in you and kindness in you. So that could be family. Like, I'm blessed to have a fantastic family that does that, you know? They think I'm capable of so much. They know I'm capable of great career, of great success, of great finance, and also capable of great love, of great commitment, of marriage. And so because I've decided that that's my accepted standard, that's my normal with my family, I get more signs of it. And I also get more signs of it with my parents. I don't have a critical mom anymore. Like, it was bad before. She's absolutely loving and supportive to some extent. We've still have some quirks, but it's a way better relationship with my mom. And I am so relieved to have a better relationship with my mother. And also with my dad. Like, my dad will always be somebody who's just not gonna bother with things around us. My dad actually steps up and starting to help things around the house. So I'm telling you, working on yourself, even with the most difficult people you think or hard to change, you will see signs of them changing. Like, I'm still in shock to actually sit on and I take account of where my parents were before to now. It is amazing. but you have to do the work if you want to see results. And I'm like, if I could get those results with my own parents, who I've been blessed to get my intelligence, my good looks, but also my stubbornness from, I can definitely do this in my other relationships. And so that's what I'm on now. So you can get a change in your relationships, but it has to start with self first, right? So doing that self-esteem work, looking in the mirror and telling yourself those kind things, it heals things within you. It heals your inner child. It heals your self-esteem, and you can be able to be empowered to make changes both professionally and personally. And I think that's what you'd want anyways, because I don't think you'd want to be a loser for your whole life, right? So it's to get up and actually just make those changes internally, like pour into yourself, speak kindly to yourself, be your own best friend, love on yourself. So important to be that person to yourself first. Then this is mostly for relationships and love. Now, with respect to money, because I know that's a big one as well. If you have a thought process of money is hard to come by, I can't keep a job, I can't do this, I have to do this to get money, money requires a lot of hard work, I have to sacrifice and struggle all the time for money, I can't manage money and all those things, that's one, a very poor self-concept, but it's also a self-fulfilling prophecy for your finances, because if you're thinking about your finances this way, you will never make more money. You'll never be abundant. You'll never allow for flow to happen. And when you're thinking like that, you stop the energetic flow of money and you cut off yourself because you're having a poverty mindset and a broken mindset. Two things I wish you could get rid of right now is thinking you're broke, you're poor, you'll always be poor, you'll always be broke. Those are the most horrible things to say, to the point where I think those are actually self-curses. Never associate yourself mentally, emotionally, word-wise with poverty and brokenness. It will show up not just in your finances, but in other ways. I swear when I used say that I was broke all the time, it would not just show up in my finances, but it would show up in my relationships. It would show up in even my things breaking down. I could not stress this. Get rid of those things. If you can, please get rid of it now, because it will stop you. I am telling you, it would stop you. Start thinking that I might not have the money now, but I'm gonna go get it. I know I am worthy of money. I know I am worthy of riches and success. I know I'm letting this money come in today. I know I can find money today. And trust me, when I said I know I can find money today, when I made that my thing, always finding money on the floor. I'm always finding money on the floor. Like, even if it's a small amount, but I'm grateful for it, you know? Even if it's like smallest currency, I am always grateful for it. Because every time I said that I know I'm gonna find money now, I always find money on the floor. In fact, I ended up going to a party with that kind of mindset that, oh yeah, I'm gonna just go and just have a good time, but I know money will always find me. Found money on the floor. Kid you not, I found money on the floor in that party. So that's why it's so important to have a very open mindset with money like that. And like I said, it might not have been like a big bag of money, but that's a sign that I know my inner dialogue with respect to money is changing. And I also do find job opportunities and so forth as well for me. So that is a good self-concept. It's just shifting from the poor, the broken, the mind to I'm always abundant. Money always finds me. I always find money anywhere I go. I'm finding money now. I'm finding opportunities now, and having those affirmations play out. And you can do the same thing with the mirror work you've done in general to actually change the money affirmations so that you're in alignment with having finances, your alignment with having that big bank account, right? So the other thing too with money likes speed. So what's going to happen is when you start to change your mindset from not having money, not having enough, that scarcity mindset, to I'm always abundant, I always have enough, I always have enough money, money always loves me, money loves my company, I'm a money magnet, I'm so prosperous and abundant, money is my birthright, prosperity is my birthright. And yes, I'm saying this because I want your brain to understand that these are what you should be saying in your brain. But when you start to think like that, you're going to start be given opportunities, you're going to start having doors open, or you're going to start having ideas to make money. My advice is jump on these ideas within 48 hours. I'm going to give you a day because for some of us, we might be very dysregulated and need that day to regulate. We might need that day to process, but work with it within 48 hours, because sometimes that one thing might be the thing that changes your life. That might be the big step that you need. And it might be the thing that really leads you to fulfillment financially and personally. So my advice is when it comes to money, don't wait too long to do it. You can always fix the thing after. You can always build a new code. You can always, re-edit. You can always do new strokes. I don't know, whatever it is that you do to get that money, you can always redo and refix. but you need to start working on it as soon as you get that idea, because chances are you get an idea from God, from source, wherever, and you need to actually start manifesting and bringing it into being, because that could be the thing that changes your life and changes the life of others. So that's the thing with money. And having that good self-concept with money is important, since everything is energy. Money is an energy, and we kind of need money to survive. You need to actually go work on that. So if you need to go do a coach, if you need to go have something to track your spending habits, which I need to go back on, if I'm being honest, I need to go back to my spending tracking app that I use, or like the techniques I was using to save money and coming up with a budget. If you need to sit down with a money coach, do that as well. They're fantastic ones. I know there's one I also need to reach out to. So there's a lot of things you can do to actually improve your self-concept with money as well. And the thing with money is it's not that difficult. You just have to be smart with it as well. If you do need to take a second job based on what you see in your budget and your expenses, you can take a different job. You can take a better paying job. You can take a second job. You can have a side hustle. Like, there's so many ways you can make it work that you should not stop yourself from wanting the finances you want. You should stop yourself from becoming who you want to be financially, right? And so that's what I'm on right now. I'm trying to do my things to also increase my finances, because I am currently like team no excuses. Like, we've got to get this done this year. We've got to at least restart seeing progress this year. And so if that's what you're on, my advice is go very deep into your beliefs with your finances as well. You can do sleep tapes that are very specific with your finances, and you should be good to go. So with respect to romance, and this is going to be the last part, there are other parts as well. There's probably going to be a part 2 I deal with health, and that's going to be a whole thing, because for me, I think that's my biggest struggle right now, but I'm going to do a video on it and what I've been doing. But before I end this video, let's talk a little bit about self-concept in love. So as you rightly know, your self-concept with love would reflect the relationship you had with your parents or guardians at a young age. So if it is that you've struggled to receive love from your parents or your guardians, or you've just struggled with love, it's going to be a little bit harder for you to get the love that you want because of those belief systems. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to be impossible. It's just going to mean you're going to have to put in some work. And I will also say this. There are those that have also had the two-parent household and everything, and people think that should be enough to show what a loving relationship looks like. On the surface, it could be that, but there could also be a lot of things at play that you personally do not see in that dynamic that's happening in that dynamic. So to assume that is just as bad. All of us can come with stuff that stops us from getting the love we desire and the love we deserve. And we need to understand and address those beliefs and take responsibility for holding on those beliefs, right? Like, it's not our fault if we weren't loved correctly as a kid and so forth. It's not our fault then. But as an adult, it becomes our responsibility to want to do better and to work on those beliefs and to work on changing who we are when it comes to love, giving and receiving love, because that will actually determine the type of relationships we have. And we have to also be responsible of the type of relationships we have. We have to be responsible of how we are showing up in those relationships and who we are choosing in our lives outside of our family, because sometimes we didn't get to choose our family, but we need to be responsible of that. We need to be able to set boundaries. We need to be able to communicate. We need to be able to figure out what it is that we even like in our relationships. And this is even before we get to romance. Like, I'm doing all this because this is before we get to romance, right? Because that's also going to be important with who we pick for a romantic partner. But before we even do that, we have to look at all those dynamics. Like, who are we surrounding ourselves with? Are we surrounding ourselves with people who embody love, who embody the kind of qualities we'd want in a person? Are we the type of person that's like doing constant self-improvement when it comes to love? Are we allowing ourselves to be emotionally vulnerable with our friends, allowing ourselves to be open to receiving that love from family and friends, open to giving that love to family and friends, and being there and being that love and support? Because if we want all of that in a romantic partner, who then also becomes the family we choose and also our best friend romantically, we're going to have to work on all of that if we want that person. So that's why it's also important to have those dynamics outside of that person, so that you can get somebody just to be magnetically attracted to you, right? So it's important to work on all those things, and also healing the mother and father wounds, especially if you've had relationships where they've been abusive and hurtful. If you're not healing that, you are going to get to some level abuse in those relationships as well. And it might not be a case where it comes off as one level of abuse. So, and I'm really sorry if this has happened to you. If you've been physically, verbally, emotionally, and sexually abused by your parents, it may not come up as that specific abuse, but it could come out in a different type of abuse, even something as simple as manipulation in those relationships. So it's important that you're going in and healing that. And that's what I'm doing. I'm healing my own stuff because I see that this is the standard of a relationship I want, but I cannot ask for that from a person if I am not doing the work myself. I cannot ask for a person to meet me there and I am here. Like, they can't be here and I am here. First of all, I should be up here and then this person is here and it's going to rise to meet me, if that makes sense, right? So I cannot ask of somebody if I'm not doing it myself. I don't think that's really fair. So even if I don't even have it physically, like energetically and mentally, I need to have it. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at. But it's very important that you're noting that you have to also find ways to pour and give yourself love. Because even if you do have friends and family, you're going to have to deal with you at the end of the day. You're dealing with yourself at the end of the day. And it's important that you love yourself. You're your own best friend. You're your own romantic partner to some extent, because then that easily attracts that person that would match that energy. And then you would not have to work hard. And then sometimes when you're doing all the work, you're really pouring into yourself, you're being authentic, you're showing up, you're being vulnerable, you're allowing yourself to feel and express yourself, you're having your boundaries, you're being a better communicator, and all those great qualities, it's going to be so easy to bring in a person that person might actually exceed your expectations and you just be like, whoa, didn't expect that, right? And it's also important that with this, there's a level of self-respect. And I'm going to say this just for the young girls watching this. If you're a young girl and you're dating men, because I know that might not be the case for everybody, but if you are dating men and the guy does any of these things from the jump, lies to you, does not put effort into you from the beginning, is way too sexual with you, is not as communicative with you, and is not pouring into you from the beginning, is putting all this great effort to be on his best behavior and his best self, that is not a great sign. And the reason for that is at the beginning, everything's supposed to be great. Like, I know it's not ideal. Some people would want, I want to see all the bad things first, so I want to get on. Nobody's really like that, sweetheart. So you're supposed to be getting the best effort first. First. You're supposed to be getting a man who's going to put in time, effort, and communicate with you. If you're getting any of these signs, even signs of abuse from early on, run, because that's going to show you what your relationship is going to progress into. Because what happens is, at the beginning, men should be trying to impress you. Heck, even masked women, I think, should be trying to impress you, Like, you should be getting impressed. Like, you should be showing off the good qualities and so forth. Because what happens over time is that relationship begins to settle. Some of the effort might not always be seen. Maybe you're lucky and you have someone who consistently puts effort in. I wish that for you. And you can get that, by the way. But sometimes that's not the case. And you'd have to go back, refix, redo. And so you'd want somebody who's putting effort into you at the beginning. But if he does any of the things I listed, way too sexual too soon, not very communicative, disrespects you too early, makes you feel very small too early, treats you poorly, does not keep to his word, isn't putting in efforts, is not doing enough, isn't being thoughtful enough, that's probably not somebody who'd want to entertain. And the reason for that is exactly what I said. Because later on, when things wane, you're going to see those signs, but sometimes they're going to be worse off than in the beginning when you should have caught them. And yes, I had to learn from experience with all of this. So now I'm like a little bit more mature. I'm taking my time. I'm learning to just go slow and see how things go. And I think it's saving me a lot of stress and headache than the previous relationships I've had. And I will be honest, and I'll take accountability to saying I should have left sooner in some of those dynamics than others, but now I know better, I am doing better. Okay? So that's all you have to do, right? Because we've all been in a relationship like that. Heaven forbid you don't end up in a relationship like that, but we need to learn and just do better and just be like, this is our new standard and stick to it. So there's that for love. Also for love is also just going easy with yourself too, and making sure you feel at ease and at home with the person. Like, it should just feel like a lot of safety, peace, and joy as well. But you should also, especially if this is a romantic partner, you should also feel a little bit of chemistry, a little bit of buzz and sparkle. It's a little bit of attraction and like being drawn to that person, but not to the point where it's extremely overwhelming, extremely stressful, extremely painful. It should just be something that's very light and very, easy, but it should also just feel like a continuous process of getting to know each other, making each other laugh, making each other feel safe, and so forth, because I think that's what makes for something healthy. And you should be able to talk about anything, to be honest. So that's it for like all that for the self-concept. You need to have all those qualities. Yes, this is why some people just decide that love is too difficult and so forth, because it does require work. Like, I don't know what love coach or guru or dating coach would say does not require changing some things. If they're saying it just requires you to do this one thing and it's done, I don't think that's enough. A lot of them would require you having to emotionally regulate, changing how you view relationships, healing that inner child, healing your dynamics with your parents, healing how you view love, ignoring the nonsense about love being difficult, ignoring the nonsense that men are dogs or women are gold diggers and all that foolishness. It means going within and really dealing with all of those things to then have like a healthy, sustainable love within self and then with others. So the best way to deal with these things, you might have to go to therapy when it comes to changing your self-concept with love. It might require some work on healing your inner child, healing the dynamics with your parents, and also healing past relationships, especially if some of those dynamics have been destructive or abusive. You are going to have to go in to therapy and do the work with those. You're going to also have to manage your attachment styles as well. That's going to be important, and how you communicate and set boundaries as well, and how you assert yourself in relationships. So all of that might require a therapist. You can also do like a life coach who has those similar skills. I do highly recommend therapy though, to at least be a starting point before you do. You might have to do that. You might have to go through a life coach or so forth to help you with those things. And then, of course, you could do belief tapes at night. You can also do the emotional regulation in the day. And, of course, having your routines that prioritize yourself and build up on yourself. And, find little ways to give yourself some love. Compliment yourself. Say, damn, I look good today. Oh, my God, I'm glowing today. And just point out awesome qualities. Like, look at my shoulders. Like, look at this. Look at this. Oh, my nails look nice today. Oh, my hair is actually behaving. My hair is not behaving, but you see what I mean, right? So like find little ways to pour into yourself so that you're not, depending on validation from somebody else. Like if your outfit looks good, oh, my outfit looks great today. Or you know what? Wear those cute shoes you've been wanting to be like, oh, these shoes look so cute. I remember my mom is so amazing when it comes to picking out outfits and shoes sometimes, that I have these leopard, like short heel leopard shoes, and I always get compliments on them, and I wear them and like, but the thing is, I didn't really care for the compliments. I just loved the shoes because they were so cute. And then that reflected outside in people complimenting my shoes. So even something simple as silly as that makes a huge difference. So when it comes to love, you're going to do the same things. You say, I'm so lovable. Everybody loves me. And I know it sometimes seems like a joke when you're first saying that, but the more you say it is the more you get it outside of you. So I'm so attractive. Like, I'm so beautiful. Like, who wouldn't choose me? Like, I'm so amazing. Like, who wouldn't value me? Like, who wouldn't want to put an effort to get me? And like, have those patterns consistently playing, especially if you want like really amazing relationships, because you need to start making the changes first internally, because then have the amazing relationships. And it also goes for the romantic relationships. Be like, I could get anybody I want. Like, look at me. I'm amazing. I bring so much value to any relationship and dynamic. And once you do that, you will be fine. But it does take work. All of this takes some work, but you're more than capable of changing your self-concept. My phone's about to die, so I'm going to wrap this up. I still have the self-concept with respect to health to do, and that's going to be a whole thing. But here's the breakdown. You can change your self-concept. You don't have to be stuck being this person. You can become your ideal self, but it will take work. It'll take shifting beliefs. You might need to go to therapy. You might need to change how you think and talk to yourself, but you can do this. And I love you so much. Y'all have a good one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.